The candle on my cupcake didn't even get a chance to flicker. My mother blew it out herself, the smoke curling into the air like the remains of my childhood. "I've already sent the cancellation texts," she said, not looking up from her screen. "I told everyone you have a stomach flu. It's for the best, Maya. Your brother is in a crisis." That was the night I turned 18. The night I realized that in the hierarchy of my family, I wasn't even a person. I was a placeholder. My name is Maya, and I spent 18 years being the easy child, the strong one, the one whose needs were always secondary to the volatile weather system that was my older brother, Leo. Crisis was simple. Leo's band had been kicked off a local tour. He had returned home in a whirlwind of broken guitar strings and shattered ego, slamming the front door so hard a mirror in the hallway cracked. He didn't ask about my birthday. He didn't see the streamers. He just looked at the backyard, where I'd spent hours hanging lanterns for my first adult celebration, and spat. "If my life is a wreck, I shouldn't have to listen to a bunch of teenagers laughing outside my window. Cancel it." And my mother, Karen, obeyed. My father, David, just looked at his shoes. "It's just one day, Maya," my dad whispered, avoiding the sight of the party favors I'd hand-packed. "Leo is sensitive. He feels things more deeply than you do. You're resilient. You'll understand." But as I stood in that silent kitchen, watching my mom lie to my entire social circle on my behalf, something didn't just bend. It snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I walked upstairs, pulled a duffel bag from under my bed, and began packing. I was done being the silent pillar holding up a house that didn't want me. I was halfway through packing my laptop when my mom's voice cut through the house. "Maya, get down here. Now." I walked into the living room to find the Council of Ethan in full session. Leo was sprawled on the sofa like a tragic king, a beer in his hand, looking miserable for an audience. My parents stood over him, hovering like worried satellites. "We need to talk about your attitude," my mom started, her arms crossed. "Leo is going through a professional mourning period. He's worked so hard at your father's hardware store to fund that tour and to see it vanish. He needs a peaceful environment to recover." "And my birthday?" I asked. My voice was eerily calm. "The day I legally become an adult, does that exist in this peaceful environment?" Leo snorted, rolling his eyes. "God, Maya, you're so main character coded. It's a birthday. You have one every year. I just lost my career. Do you even have empathy, or are you just that selfish?" My father chimed in, his voice soft but firm. "We'll do a nice dinner next month, okay? Once the tension has died down. Right now, your brother's mental health is the priority. You've always been the independent one. You don't need the fuss." It was the ultimate backhanded compliment. "You're so strong, we can neglect you." I looked at the three of them, a closed loop of codependency, and realized I was the only thing outside of it. Then the doorbell rang. The tension in the room shifted. My dad opened the door, expecting a delivery or perhaps a confused guest who hadn't seen the "Maya is sick" text. Instead, he found my Aunt Sarah. Sarah was my mother's estranged sister, a high-powered architect from Chicago who rarely visited. She stood there with a designer suitcase and a look that could pierce armor. She didn't wait for an invite. She walked into the house, her eyes landing on the Happy 18th banner that was half-taped to the wall, then on the untouched cake, and finally on the three of them hovering over Leo. "Sarah, what are you doing here?" my mother gasped, trying to block the view of the living room. "I'm here for my niece's milestone," Sarah said, her voice like ice. "But it looks like I walked into a funeral. Why is the house dark? Where are the guests?" My mother began the rehearsed script. "Maya's come down with a terrible bug. We had to call it off. It's been a very stressful day, Leo's tour." "Maya doesn't look sick," Sarah interrupted, stepping toward me. She touched my forehead, then looked at my tearless, angry eyes. "She looks like she's being erased." What followed was the sound of a family's foundation crumbling. Sarah didn't just comfort me, she dropped a bomb. "I've been sending you $3,000 a month for 3 years, Karen," Sarah said, turning to my mother, "to save the family business and ensure the kids have a future. I sent an extra $5,000 this month specifically so Maya could have a beautiful transition into adulthood. Where is that money? Is it in that tour Leo just failed? Is it in the new car Leo's driving? The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush the floorboards. I looked at my parents. They hadn't just sacrificed my feelings. They were using my aunt's charity to fuel Leo's delusions while telling me we were struggling. We were protecting the family's legacy, my mom shrieked. Leo has talent. Maya is going to be fine no matter what. She doesn't need the help like he does. She's 18, Sarah said, grabbing my duffel bag from the bottom of the stairs. And she's leaving, tonight. I didn't hesitate. I didn't look back at my mother's panicked face or my father's slumped shoulders. I followed Sarah to her car. As we pulled out of the driveway, I saw Leo standing in the window, looking confused that his sister, his safety net, was finally gone. The move to Chicago was a blur. For the first time, I lived in a home where my mood wasn't a secondary concern. Sarah didn't coddle me. She challenged me. She helped me enroll in a pre-law program and found me a job at her firm. But the real karma didn't happen in Chicago. It happened 6 months later. My mother called me, her voice trembling. Without Sarah's monthly subsidies, and without my free labor at the hardware store, the business was collapsing. My father was working double shifts, and Leo had been forced to get a real job. Maya, please, my mother begged. Talk to your aunt. Tell her we've changed. Tell her Leo is in therapy. If she doesn't start the transfers again, we'll lose the house. I looked out at the Chicago skyline, feeling the weight of the city and my own burgeoning future. I remembered the smoke from my blown-out candle. I remembered the Maya is sick texts. Mom, I said, my voice steady, you always told me I was the strong one, that I was resilient, that I could handle anything. Yes, you are, honey. That's why we need you to. Then you should be happy, I interrupted. Because I'm strong enough to say no. I'm resilient enough to live without you. And I'm independent enough to realize that if the house falls, it's because you built it on a foundation of lies. Good luck with Leo. I hung up. I didn't block them. I wanted them to see my life. I posted photos of my high grades, my new friends, and my 19th birthday, a massive party on a rooftop where the only person who blew out the candles was me. They wanted a life where Leo was the center of the universe. They finally got it. But the problem with being the center of the universe is that eventually, everything else drifts away, leaving you in the cold, dark silence of your own making. I wasn't the sick one, the family was, and I was finally cured.